I wanted to cover my entry on this particular tree. I'm walking up a small drainage ditch. It's a couple feet, 3 feet deep, rocky and sandy bottom on it with some leaves in it. The noise that I make is significantly reduced by those creek banks. Also, your scent is reduced a little bit also by going up and down that creek. I'm not real far from my tree, but I also wanted to tell you that the deer that I'm targeting tonight is a buck we call the short tine 10. First 2 years that I saw him, he had 10 points. This year he's got 9. He's always been fairly wide, 19 to 20 inches wide. I think last year he was a little bit bigger than this year also. He lost one of his points. I think it may have been the G2. It's hard to tell in the pictures, but he's still a really nice buck. He's 5 years old. If he comes in this evening, I'll go ahead and try to take him. There's also a couple of other bucks that I would like, but they just haven't been on this camera at all. So, just got up in the tree. You can see those scrapes pretty well from up here, so I'm keeping my fingers crossed. We got a really switchy wind. It's from the southeast and then it's going to the northeast, so I don't like that. But I mean, my only chance is probably if he comes straight from the east. So, but if they come in behind me, I think they're going to end up smelling me. That's the way I walked in also, but we'll just have to see. These deer do weird things. They're coming anywhere they want to at this time of the year. Seems like they're walking. It doesn't matter where, so they don't have any particular trail. It looks like these scrapes are kind of random. There's overhanging branches, but they're not on any particular trail or something. They're just there, you know, just out in the middle of nothing. So, like I said, we'll see if there's any deer movement this evening. We should be able to see them from here. It's got a good view. I've got a little field on the other side here of the road, and then behind me there's a cut cornfield. You go up the hill to the cut cornfield. So this is a little valley, a good travel corridor for them. Meh. I just had to sit down. I just shot the short tine 10. I've been having not a rough year. Been having a lot of pictures of bucks, but just not being able to see them. This is a buck that I have some history with for the past 2 years. I passed him up when he was a 3-year-old, and last year I only saw him one time, and he had gotten significantly bigger. This year he's, I think, declined just a little bit, but I'm almost sure he's 5 years old. Oh, I got the adrenaline shakes. Real nice buck. Like I said, I think he's 5 years old. Came into 15 yards, gave me a nice shot, slightly quartering to, but he went on to the next hillside. I could see him fall. I'm sorry about the camera work. I'm by myself this evening. And when I saw him, he was like 50 yards and coming towards me. So I actually had a 2-year-old come in almost where he did this evening. The wind was switching from the north to the south, but it was always out of the east. And that buck had smelled me and kind of trotted off. So I was fortunate that he didn't smell me. He was coming in. He would have walked probably 10 yards from me. But I thought he was going to get off the camera screen, so I went ahead and shot him. Oh, I'm excited. Gee whiz. You know, sometimes hunts don't go the way you think they're going to. I have only seen this buck one time in the past 2 years until yesterday evening. He was walking right at me, and I
just happened to hear him. Otherwise, I wouldn't have heard him until it was too late. He had crossed a small field and came into the woods to me, and I was facing the other way. I had to grab my bow and turned on my GoPro, and I had to move the camera between myself and the tree. And by that time, he was 20 yards and still coming towards me a little bit. And I just turned it on, hit record, pointed it where I thought he was going to be, and drew back, and I stopped him. And he was just barely on the screen, as you can see. Real nice buck. He's 5 years old. When I first saw him as a 3-year-old, he was pretty nice. He had the same width. I think he was about 19 inches wide. The next year as a 4-year-old, he gained good looking G4s also, and I was expecting him to make a little bit of a jump this year again, but he did not. He actually regressed a little bit. It almost looked like he didn't grow the G2, but and I don't know why. We were extremely dry and this year, and I don't know if he had an injury or if it was the dryness, but he had had 10 points for the last 2 years. I just assumed that he would have the same this year. But even his left antler doesn't look quite as big as it had in the past. So, but I have the history with him. I've got pictures of him every year. I got quite a few pictures of him this year. Almost everything, actually everything, was at night. This is the first daytime sighting or picture that I had since last year. Beautiful buck, 5 years old. He came into 15 yards and gave me the shot, and he ran maybe just a short distance, about 60 or 70 yards. So a great deer. And into the story of that one, I've got 2 other ones that are looking good to me, so we'll have to see how the rest of the year unfolds, and at least I have something in the freezer and filled one of my tags.